Welcome back to What If Zobon was in My Hero Academia. Where we left off, the Zobon was like, went right behind All for One and grabs his head, grabs All for One's head and ripped it right off of his own the body, yes. So, yeah, he basically did that, and he literally pulled, or he like banana peeled All for One's mask off to, as he ate All for One's body, or head. And he turned around, he grabs All for One's arms and legs, and some reason he brought salt and pepper. So he brought salt and pepper, and he starts eating All for One. As some of them, like, are terrified. As in their head, they're saying he's literally eating All for One. As after he was done, he looks up and he says, that was brain. Brain. Yeah. So, yeah. As All Might looks at him, says, yeah, I agree. Man, did that taste good, hun? As he literally as the only person that was literally showed up was his mother. As his mother couldn't believe that he ate All for One's entire body by himself. Like, she didn't, like, or actually she didn't name her to a child, but turning into the creature, as he used sense of power. As he looks up and sees because his eyes can see from very far away, like he sees a villain. Ellen was aimed right at his own mother. As when the gun went off, Zobon lifts himself up, and he literally pushed his own mother away from it, and ends up getting shot in the head. And as she knows it was him that saved her, so as she's more worried about him, like, okay, as he lifts himself back up, as he says, brain. brain. As he literally jumps, and he flew all the way where the sniper is. As he says, brain. As they're like, as a sniper, and no, it's not the Lady Nagan or the one that's in the manga right now. So they end up let's say it was some other random sniper user, and then he ends eating. Yeah, so as in pro heroes aren't the as he shows up at this exact same time as he tells her that he should be taking him home. And you do your work. And they started to argue as of course then he decides to pull out a gun and was gonna shoot her at 0 miles, or actually at 100 feet. So yeah, as Zobon pops out of nowhere, saves her or his mother's life again, and he says, brain, as he goes, and he literally, because it was his final straw so he literally ran up to his father and he literally went Super Saiyan. He literally, the flames surrounding his body, around both of them. So he actually did kill his own father, as his father's was wanted to die for peace thing. So yeah, after he died, his ashes got burnt up, and now because he actually ate him. As his own mother took him home, and the next day, or she actually tells him that she'll teach him how to speak properly. Okay? As she tries to say, or get him to say, I am here. As he says, brain. No. I am here. And then she goes to bed because she gave up on him. As when he goes to bed, his voice, or his inner voice, he actually did something really crazy. He actually taught himself, now say chicken. Chicken? Good. Say, I am here. I am here. And the next day, when they both got up, he made, not rice. I almost said rice, but I meant the cereal or breakfast for mother, as of course, to surprise her, as she says, well, did he, hurt you, by the way? Or, as his mother came and sat down, and, brain, as he says that, well, I have a surprise for you. That's what he wrote on a piece of paper. Gave it to his mother. And, of course, she says, okay, what's the surprise? As he, hey, good morning, Mom. As he talked normal. Shocks her. Wait, so you talked normal? Yes. After we went to bed, or actually, before I went to bed, I trained myself to say it. Remember that name, or that phrase that you said, I am here? As has that, emotional thing. So she ends up, got out of her chair, gave him a hug, and they spent quality time together. Of course, the pro heroes know that the other pro hero was such a jerk. So, yeah. So they are relieved that he died out. As he got out in the sun more, and he got such a tan, as his mother is happy that, but he still has one thing, as of course, of course, his mother says, "What's wrong?" As he tells her that, I know that his agency's credit, and I know that I'm supposed to go under, or like choose an agency and stick with it. It's just now the pro hero line, so I don't really know. As she actually has the agency to work under her, so she actually says, "Huh, I already have the agency, as I accept you." As so, the next day, as they're like, okay, there's a lot of chatter, or there's a lot of, as some, because they're talking about him, like he's running late, as they hear like some random voice, as he says, "Huh, well, I think they're talking about me, so bye-bye, I'm Moon." As he, of course, he shows up at like class, as he says, "Huh, well, let's get things that they started, shall we?" As they couldn't believe that he is talking straight, like instead of one word. As some of them are like a little bit stoned, as he says, "Don't worry, it's still real me, not the..." As he still has that same pose thing in, as after the, like, that all for one's fight thing, after the all for one fight, the student in class 1A, and everyone respects him as their friend, their family. They even treat him as their own brother. Hunter. As Mr. Azawa is like, "Huh, you sure talk straight. Are you feeling okay?" "Of course." Plus, my mom tried to, or did, and got me to speak clearly, because my father was a jerk and he didn't teach me how to speak properly. Only words that I do remember was brain, so it's constantly say that. And okay, and they know that it shocks some of them. As yeah, Toga gets up out of her chair, walks over to him, and she asked him to go on a date with her. As he says sure. As they know that both of their bloodlust, as they know how that he's basically pretty powerful. As the next day, they start their training, and of course, Midnight's was, or she saw how romantic it was. Plus, the other person is Maya, Mei, or Mina. I always get both of them confused. So she finds that romantic, that she like her and Toga were before all of it. Toga has been drooling, thinking about, as she asked, "So what are you thinking about?" Well, of course, Toga tells her that he's thinking about him, Zombo. Oh, that one that he's says brain all the time. Yeah, that guy. And she couldn't believe she couldn't believe that, and that girl fell in love with a walking corpses. But that's okay. Sorry, I misclicked. So they both are on a dating, and they both laying and they both were dating, and then when they got after UA, or actually his own mother got told by the Midnight that her son is going on a date with crazy Toga. As he says, yeah, he needs that after all that trauma that the husband went through. Or, as it reminds me, as she asks him what happened, as he tells her everything about after she left him. He started to use, or trains me to use all my powers. So yeah. So now I'm not skipping the dodgeball because one, it's gonna be hilarious. So So, in the guy that's like doing the dodgeball thing, he calls up Zobon to tell him what the dodgeball is. Like, try to teach him how it works. So, yeah. So Toga was, and everybody saw him, and he looks better than. Okay. And now after all that thing, of course, only like there was two people that find him attractive. And one of them is already dating him, Toga, and the other is her. So, plus her friends or her classmates tells her about and how he's all like zombified thing. As of course when she heard about him, how as she basically stirred up courage. She literally walks up to him and asked him to go on a date with her. As Toga steps in and says, "He's my boyfriend." As he got in between them, as he tells both of them, "Enough. And I don't mind going on a double date with both of you, so no need to argue. Yep. Heck, I would rather get married to both of you if I chose." As she says, "Huh, that's okay." Eh? As they both went on or all three of them went on a date, and all three of them got married after like school, and yeah, it was craziness. So, and her, like, his mother's friend says, "Huh, looks like your son's went on a double date." As, yep, he is, after all, I think he gets his good looks from yours truly. And, of course, she knows that he was such a ladies' man. So, yeah. he basically, and so now the overhaul fight, hey, and yeah, overhaul, or before actually, during the like internship thing, or the not internship, the meeting thing. Everyone treats him as like his or their family. Heck, Endeavor, All Might, everybody, and when, like from all the schools. So yeah, and Toga says, and that be careful, Sweet Pea. I will. As she, for some reason, figured out what his phone number was. So she went and called him, and because his mother bought him a phone, and she tells him that to be very careful. I will, as he literally was basically pretty powerful when he and when during that meeting thing, when he saw or when he wanted to see the like remains of the bullet thing as he pieces them together, as they all try to calm him down, like, okay, what's wrong? As he tells them that it's a quark erasing bullet, but it's mostly common, or is now common in the underworld. Or as he looks at Mr. Aizawa and tells, have you seen these before? No. Well, based off of as Sir Night Eye says, based off of research, it's by Overhaul's men. And as he turns and looks at him, says he's using a little girl called Aries. Because he actually, they're shocked of how did he know about our little girl's name. I'm not those weird people that are, as they see one skeleton head was on his like hip thing, or in his arm. The clinging and clanging, him talking. So, yeah. He basically, when, like, after, he actually slams the, like, he literally hits the side of a wall. And they're like, huh. As, of course, lockdown before, he says, huh, why do we hire a bunch of kids and a zombie? Before he even said kids, Zombone just slams him against the wall and holds them there as everyone else is trying to calm him down. Like, so, yeah, so now he did save Ares, as he says, don't worry, Ares, I'm not here to harm you, as he gets her out of there before her, as, so, yeah, I'm skipping that. So now into the future, Toga and her and him got married. Right? And his like hero name is King of the Undead. Basically, yeah. So, yeah, and then the bunch of like villains stole a high class nuclear device thing, like a rocket, to try to blow up the entire like country. But they didn't know that it could destroy the entire world. That's so, but he looks and he sees as he tells them to go in. As he goes, and as a rocket went right towards him, but he caught the rocket, and like he lifts it up into the air. And he latched right onto it. And yeah, he explodes. And as it, like, he did, he just lost his head. Not like, or he didn't explode. His body was immortal, but he got hit in the head by a meteor. So he ends up, they both like fell into the ocean. As the skeletons knew where he was at, so they went and grabbed his body. And he puts his head back on. And yeah. As Toga knows that as the villains are like firing another missiles, but when he stumbled onto an abandoned boat, looks just like that and that. So he touched that one, and it infected the other one too. So they both fused into one and became that. So, yeah, basically, it came out of water and there's a bunch of skeletons when and invaded that where the villains were. So, yeah, and plus one of those skeletons, or he actually created a zombie version of his own father that served him. And it was pretty scary. Very fiery corpse just came out of nowhere and attacks. Yeah. And so Toga and hers are they're happy that they got their own custom cruise ship. That's ghost ship thing. As she's like, huh. Well, that's kind of spooky, but that's okay. Let's say it was Halloween time. Or before Halloween. So, yeah. Then that happens, and man, they got their own pirate things. Their own, like, it was crazy. As Toga's like, huh. No wonder why he love you. And she says, yeah, no, the same. And the skeletons look just like those, but with like pirate hats and all that stuff. So, yeah. So now there's, because he's immortal and he can never die, he never actually ages too. So he ends up decides to never age up and become immortal to Toga and her. And so they aren't like infected, but they're immortals. They are stay the same. So yeah. As who wants some pork? As that's what Zobon said. And because he actually got some fresh pork. And like he chopped it up. As yeah. And plus he has his own personal chefs too. So yeah. And they really are between Todoroki and Endeavor. They really bonded with, or actually, yeah, Endeavor bonded with him because he doesn't want to lose his mother. So yeah, actually one day or on one mission, his mother and Endeavor were trying to grab the villains, as they ran into an abandoned warehouse, or they got separated, as his mother got, or actually the villain says, haha, yours, no one will come and to save you, now die. As the tomb, basically like a tomb, where mummies live, actually puts her inside and switches places with, basically, he came out and he says, you tried to kill my mother, as he literally went full on berserk mode, as only person that really could feel the rage is actually an Endeavor. He shows up at there, and as he literally killed everybody, as he says, well, back for, and by the way, an Endeavor, as you want some pork, Molly? I'm making fresh pork. As he's like, okay. Because it's breakfast time, so. As they and his mother, oh, I see. He used his own power of switch places. So basically, to actually save your life from, as, yeah, so Momo knows that too, but so yeah, now plus Ares and the rest of them, he actually cooked enough food to feed the entire world. So, yeah, everyone got on it. So, yeah. And his own so yeah, everybody was happy about that. He's a great cook. So yeah. They actually ate the entire thing. Breakfast. So yeah. Sorry. And so now this is the end of the video. Please leave a like, share, subscribe.